Before we jump into this, I just want to remind everybody this stream is sponsored by ArenaNet and Materia Editions. I have had such a fun time working with this score, and so I just want to thank Materia Editions as well for giving me this opportunity to share this with y'all. And if you're interested in the score tonight, you can find the links for the digital copy and then also the link for the hard copy or the physical copy pre-order, which I believe is going to be printed later on this month. It features the musical works of Maclaine Diemer, Lena Raine, and Stan LePard. It has all 19 tracks from the Living World Season 2 soundtrack in the full score, so in its entirety. It also features some wonderful pieces of artwork in there, and it's just a really great collector's item if you're somebody who likes to collect EngelBurtMeow things, or if you're just a music lover of video games. Very cool. Very cool score. So make sure to get your copy today if you want. ArenaNet was kind enough to sponsor the giveaways tonight, so thank you to the ArenaNet team and staff for providing me those to give away to all of you, and just thanks so much for the support. I really appreciate you. Okay, so I am very honored because I was able to receive a digital copy of the score to show you all a little bit about it. I immediately knew that I wanted to do a score analysis for myself, so we're gonna dive into that. I picked Shadow of the Dragon, which is such a fun piece to listen to, y'all. If you haven't heard it, you're about to. So you're welcome. What's happening in the story is we're going to the World Summit. The Pact has decided we need to gather all of the leaders together because Mordremoth is being a big baddie and is turning into a little bit of a threat, okay? We don't like it. So the player character, the commander with the Pact, is like, we're going to gather all of the leaders. We got Not White Bear, we got Queen Jenna, we got Counselor Flint and Smodger the Unflinching, and we're going to go visit the Pale Tree in the Grove. We're going to have a World Summit. All these leaders are going to parade in, and we're going to talk to them because we're like, hey, Mordremoth is getting kind of annoying. We need to address this problem. In the middle of our little talk, it gets cut short by guess who? None other than the Shadow of the Dragon, which is just a big baddie version of one of Mordremoth's minions. Spoopy flying lizard 10 o'clock, basically. Dragon Light TM. Now with 50% less elderness. Yes, not an elder dragon, BB dragon. Okay. We are then, at the end of this fight, shown a vision of a chamber made of gold with a mysterious artifact in it. We're not sure what it means just yet. This is, I believe, in chapter 4 in the section called The World Summit. Some things that I want to call out just in this beginning section that you're going to hear is it's going to start off with these 4 chords in the horns. And these are going to be what I'm going to call the home chords. And this is not a technical term. And it's going to be this one, this one, this one, this one. So just stick those in your brain, okay? It's going to be in the test later on. Absolutely it will. Absolutely. And we also have this running viola. And I'm totally going to use my very professional score reading sounds. And then everything else is basically going dun 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 dun. And those things mean something is happening. Yes. It means something crazy is happening, and it keeps the momentum moving. Literally, when you have really quick notes like this, it keeps your momentum going. And then we go into this solo. This is what I'm gonna call like the first theme here. This beautiful trumpet solo. Ba 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 ba. This whole time with this. But then right here at the end of that first like theme, we get these clicks. We get these clicks, fam. Ticka, 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 ticka. Look, Linda's. Look, Yolinda's. I personally think these clicks are like one of the #1 things in this piece for me. They hit different. The clicks add a time factor for me. They remind me of a ticking clock. I think they remind the player as well of this ticking clock. Like, whatever's happening right now is urgent and needs to happen now. You need to fix this problem now. This is bad. We'll start from the beginning. But I want you to pay attention as we get to this section, the clicks, and what that adds. Because it, again, is underneath everything else, but it adds just a little bit of spiciness. And get that in your brain, chat. Here come the clicks. Look. And then they stop. Then they stop as you kind of go into this next theme. But I think that adds just like such an important sense of urgency. And I love these clicks. I love these clicks. Can I be the clicks? I want to be the clicks. And we go into this next theme, which the trombones take over, and we'll hear that here. So many cool things happening here. Cool drums, exactly. You've got the toms coming in, the dun, 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 dun. Just adding in again this other like war call almost. They're in the toms here with that with those accents. So you have this theme, the bum 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 bum, which I want to point out in my listening to this album over and over is tied to the Mordrum theme. If we go back here, this one, you have bum 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 bum. Oh my gosh, you can't even see that. Hang on. Bum 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 bum. So you have that theme in other areas. And in particular, you have the theme with the Mordrum. It kind of goes back to Mordramoth and the Mordrum being connected to him. And so I was excited to see that coming in like a faster way. Let's just listen to the beginning of the Mordrum here. And then you'll hear in the lower strings here. That's sort of like the overall theme, right? So I was like, oh my God, they put it right back in here. More drum theme. More drum. Oh my gosh, how do I spell more drum? E-M. I can spell. It's fine. Don't judge my mouse handwriting. It's bad. I know. Yeah, click, 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 ticka, 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 ticka. And then the Mordrum theme, like I mentioned, the trombones. And then these violins kind of answering that theme up top here, which I just think is beautiful and dissonant and yummy and delicious while you have the syncopation and the toms. Ticka, 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 ticka. And then we get what, chat? What did I say you were going to need to know on the exam? We have 4 what? Home. Home chords. Yes. Nice job, Obi. You get an A+. Then we move into another theme, the second official theme. Let's listen to it so you can hear my craziness in action, okay? Home chord. Also, I have a giveaway going on. Exclamation point ticket in the chat if you want to enter. Clicks. Morgem theme. Fortissimo. Back to trumpet. Drones. Okay, pause. We're pausing from there, okay? That was our second theme. Yay, we got to the second theme. Back into trumpet. This time, though, we have more intensity. The first section of a boss fight tends to be heroic sounding, okay? You have the hero. It's setting you up. It's this, like, heroic theme, which we have in that first theme that we just listened to. Then we move into the second phase. This phase is determined. That determination phase, like, oh, I gotta fight this boss, but I'm determined and I can do it, then grows up into like a climax. Like it gets, which we heard that all kind of going up and up and up and up, going to that fortissimo, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. And then it gives you a feeling of like paranoia or like something sinister is happening, right? Then the last phase goes to triumph. We'll hear that, or if you die, which you all won't die because you all are gamers, the death theme will play. These themes tend to be blocked off, right, in video game music, where you can end them. You can go very quickly to a different part in the song, whether that's back to the resolution, back to those home chords in this instance, or you could switch into like the death theme, or you phase your boss, you move into that secondary theme, that third theme, etc. So, rip, exactly. And all the while, again, you still have your strings going, keeping the momentum. So that did stop a little bit earlier when you got to the Mordrum theme. You had pretty much the whole orchestra on these longer notes except for the toms. So you had the movement coming here in the viola, right? The digga 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 digga. The violas need a break. The poor violas, man. Poor violas. And then you kind of go into here. You have pretty much everybody on the da 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 dum. But we need to keep that momentum going. Where did that go? Percussion. Yes. That's exactly right. It probably would have helped if you can see this over here. I'm sorry I asked that question because you probably can't even read that so small. Anyway, it's the percussion. We get to this second theme, like home, home, again, home, home. And I think the home chords are important in this piece because it gives you a shifting moment. This is a phasing moment, or that resolution kind of a thing. So we're back home at the starting base, and then we're going to go off into another direction. So perhaps this is the second phase. This is the determination phase. You have, again, back in the violas, digga, 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 digga. So the movements come back to the violas. You have no percussion here at the moment, and then you have more of a percussive movement in the woodwinds. We got that da 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 So it's just a phase. Exactly major. And then these juicy lower horns here that kind of blow themselves out. Which we're not going to talk about that term. Okay. And then you have it start to build up to climax. So you have da 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 da. You kind of go up here, and then da 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 goes up. Same thing, kind of call and response. Da 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 da. Literally climbing its way up to the climax here, and then you get to the top here. Same thing, all moving up. Everything's moving up. And then you have this syncopation, do 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 do, at the very top of that, and then you come back to where we think we're back to? Home. We're gonna be back home a little bit. So let's listen to that again, really quick. Back home, transition, we go, and then the womps. So juicy. And we're at the climax. We got a drone. Now violins are up the octave with that movement. And then where are we, fam? Where did we end up? It took a little bit longer to get to that resolution, right? So we have the droning here throughout these horns, wop wop wop, and then they continue to drone even after you finish the climax. And then what else comes back in? None other than our clicks. Our clicks make it back in here, keeping us moving in this spot where we have some exposure. So the main theme line is done here, and we've got these clicks coming back in. Again, this is probably my favorite part of this whole piece. Is this sneaky little clicks in here that kind of give you the paranoias. And then the clicks keep going. You have the drone, and we end up then, after a few measures of that, kind of coming back down on these home chords. And it does come back down. So we have that feeling happening here, where you have the violin strings, again, mirroring the violas, like I mentioned, up the octave, but that switches back. Here, let me get this where you can see it, down the octave here. So you do have a shift back down from that climax, very visibly heard here. And then you come back over here and it shifts back to that home key. You have the home chords, those 4 chords again, before we go into this next phase. So we'll listen to that again, and just a couple of things pointed out here for you all to hear as we listen to that. We'll start at more drum theme again. So good. Okay, moving into the second phase. Solo with the droning horns beneath. Movement in the viola still climbing up. This is really important. Which I always like that, like little as like a symbol of importance, because it reminds me of a news broadcast, like, and breaking news, ding 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 ding. Anyway. Clicks. Yep, and then the violas shift, or violins shift back down. And then back to home key. Home, home. Powering up the Death Star? Yeah, basically. Okay, third section. Triumph, hopefully. Back to that first theme. We're gonna resolute up this time. Clicks. Up. More drum theme again. This time, I love the added flurry. So again, it kind of gives you another level to this. You got an added flurry that starts here in violins 1 and 2. Sorry, again, you can't see that. Like going over and over and over again, carries through this line here. And then it starts up here in piccolo and flute. So you have just this, like, again, flurry of movement. Like, oh, things are getting cray up in here. And violas are done. Violas get a break. That movement is kind of moving up to here, but you also have the percussion coming back in here. Dun, 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 right, as you're moving through there. And then, yeah, okay, we'll listen to that. Possibly? Yeah. Yeah, here we are. Clicks. Juicy. And then the flurry starts. While you have that main theme underneath it. We did not have that the first time we listened to it. Oh my gosh, and then so many notes. Syncopation up here, or the thirds. Drones. And then we're gonna bring it back down like before. With the clicks. And then where do we end up? Back home, fam. Ba-da. Resolution. Okay, we made it. And each section has a way of, like, being able to start over relatively easily, and it's connected by a bridge. In my opinion, a lot of really good video game music does this, okay? So the bridge is these home chords that bwah, 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 in between each of these sections. And there's the different phases. So this third phase, where we have this hopefully like triumph, or this leading road to triumph, is that first theme again. But we have these extra added elements where we're busy working, we're busy fighting this dragon. Like, I just think that adds just such a cool element. But then that news broadcast kind of, like, those news broadcast kind of moments that pop in here again, kind of coming in toward the end. We got the clicks, we have the violas just working furiously, like everything's going at once. More clicks, more toms, more percussion. We've got the xylophone even popping in here. Everybody's coming to the party. And then these violins coming in again on that octave up, and then they're going to very audibly go down the octave there to bring us back home. And then we finish up on these last 4 home chords, and then we have the resolute note. If we were a player character who needed to keep going, let's say we needed some more time, we could have those 4 chords playing, that bwah, 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 and then instead of moving to this resolution chord at the very end, we could go straight back to the beginning. We could go back to the beginning of that third section. We could go back to the beginning of the second section. It doesn't really matter which section we jump into because we've connected each of the sections, right, with these 4 chords in the horns. So when you're playing the game and you're hearing that music, you don't even notice. You don't notice that the song is like repeating itself because you hear do 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 do, and then the next relevant moment it'll play those 4 chords to move into the next phase. Let's say you phase the boss, then it'll move into section 2. So we'll go all the way back to the beginning. We'll listen through this whole thing. I promise I will not stop, and I'll try not to sing over it. You can see my random notes in here, maybe to like help you in your listening. So without further ado, let's go. That nice low contrabassoon. Look. I was like off today for a music stream. We'll be back next time. Here it is, fam.
Jasmine, what happened? Where'd your portal go?
And we're home. basically. Second theme. Do we have any more tendrils? Where you going, fam? Dang it, missed it. It's loading up. We're in the third phase. Margin theme. Damn it. Don't worry. Jade bot to the rescue. Da-ga-da-da, da-ga-da-da, da-ga-da-da. Woo! Trying to get out of the red. And we're back to the beginning through the home courts. Did you notice? Ow. Rally, rally, rally. We did it! Triumph. Yay!
The threat
So that
has
was who that song was
been quelled
about.
for now.
I have had so much fun looking at the score. I feel like I have heard so many more small little details while listening to the music and also taking a look at the score. And I think that is like really cool. You can kind of hear more about what's going on, like those walking harp lines that were really quiet and peaceful beneath everything. And kind of just get more insights into the thoughtfulness behind music, because I do really think composers put a lot of thought, especially when they're trying to tell stories with their music, and are very intentional with their instrumentation, the syncopation, and the ways that they write music and how they tell stories. And then you can look at them, listen like we did today, and then go into the game and find where these pieces of music are. And you're like, hey, I know the thought process behind it, right? Anyway, y'all know the drill for me. Make sure to get good snacks, get good sleep, do good things. I love you. You matter. Mental health resources down below if you want to try EngelBurtMeow, or you're interested in my lighting, there's panels down below with more information about that. And any of those links you click are free to you, but they help my channel out, so I appreciate that. If you're interested in the score that we were talking about tonight, again, EngelBurtMeow score down below my panels, you can check out. There's the digital copy available right now, or if you want to pre-order the physical copy, you can do so from Materia Editions. Thank you again to Materia Editions and ArenaNet for sponsoring this stream. I appreciate and have loved working with both of you so far. It's been amazing and super, super fun. And I will speak for myself, but I am sure others in my community would really love to see more of the scores and sheet music from this wonderful game that we all love. Again, appreciate the support tonight for me trying something new. This was seriously so fun. I'm like literally gonna go cry happy tears, and we'll see ya next time. Goodbye, my lovelies.